Can God save me from content creator burnout? What a great question. I got on a coaching call the other day and a woman said, I don't want to talk about my business. I want to talk about God. And I said, okay, what do you have? And she said, I don't believe in God, but if I did, could he save my business? So let's talk about that for a minute. I said, what does God mean to you? And she went on to explain that she was brought up in a church, went to church every Sunday of her youth. And she felt that if she believed in God, she had to be respectful of God. And she had to fold her arms and close her eyes and bow her head when she said a prayer. And she said, do you pray, Angela? And I said, oh, yes, thousands of times a day. And she said, do you bow your head and close your eyes? And I said, let me check. No, I do not. I talk to God while I'm driving and while I'm in my car and before I go on every show, and just like in normal conversation throughout the day, as if God was in the same room having a conversation with me. And she said, does that make you a lunatic? And I said, maybe. And I said, but for me, I can't get through the day without assuming that there's a power that is greater than myself. Because, oh, what a responsibility if I, Angela, have to show up and invent all of that every day. And she says, well, what do you mean? And I said, let's pretend that that there is no God. Okay, we don't have to, in this conversation, prove the existence of God. But let's have a conversation with the curiosity and the possibility that what if there was a God? And she said, well, okay, I can go along with that. And we started exploring. I said, there are a whole bunch of things in the universe that I can't prove. I can't prove scientifically, but have happened in spite of me. And although I want to try to show up and I want to play general manager of the universe and I want to pretend as if I have control over everything that happens in my world, the truth is I actually do not. I do not have even any say in a lot of the stuff that happens. For example, my mother and dad got together and they brought an egg and a sperm and they had a little celebration and poof, here I am. I didn't have anything to do with that at all. And then when I was born, I was 19 inches long. But I just checked this morning and I'm 68 inches long this morning. How did I get from 19 inches to 68 inches? I didn't have anything to do with that whatsoever. It just kind of happened in spite of me, right? As I'm speaking to you right now, my heart is beating and there's an amazing organ in my body that is sending like miles of little blood vessels all throughout my body. And my heart is like beating and it's doing all the things it's supposed to do to keep me alive. And I Angela, don't have anything to do with that at all. I don't know how it works. I don't have any control over it. And so I have to assume that there's something greater than myself at play here. Oh, what a huge responsibility is lifted off my shoulders when I realize that I'm breathing right now. And I have no idea how the oxygen in my body works. I have no idea. Okay. If I were to sit here and count the breaths, how many breaths did I breathe in the course of a day? I have no idea. And yet it happened in spite of me. So there is something greater going on in my life at every moment that I'm obviously not having anything to do with. And I often am completely oblivious to the fact that it's happening. So let's stop and go back for a second. Can God save her from her business if she believed there was a God? If there is a God, God doesn't need you to believe in him. And the reason I say that is because if God exists, God is going to exist in spite of you, regardless whether you believe or not. It really has no merit whatsoever. And I can't imagine a God that's throwing a temper tantrum going, Cheryl doesn't believe in me. And I changed Cheryl's name. That's not her real name. But the conversation is this. Let's change it for a second. Do you believe in the sun? And you might not believe in the sun. You might say, I don't believe in the sun. I'm not celebrating the sun in my life. If the sun exists and it rises every morning, it rises for all mankind. It doesn't single you out and say, I'm not going to shine on you today. It's still going to rise with or without you believing in it. And so you might say, I'm closing my windows and I'm closing my blinds and there's no sun. And that's okay. It's not going to come in through your closed windows. You don't want it there. It's not going to interrupt you. Now, you might go outside and lo and behold, there's the sun shining as bright as day. And you might say, but I don't believe in the sun. I'm going to ignore it. Okay. It's not going away. It's not going anywhere. And you put out a big umbrella and you're like, I'm not having any sun. Okay. And you put on dark sunglasses. You're like, I'm not having any sun. Okay. And you put on sunscreen. You're not going to penetrate my skin. You're not going to, bronze me and shine on me. Okay. It doesn't exist for you, but it exists for everyone else. Right. So whether or not you believe in God is completely irrelevant to the power that is available to us. Now, as a content creator, it's a huge responsibility to wake up every single day and to assume that you got to create something fine and fantastic and that there's going to be an audience that's going to come find you. Well, let's trust for a minute that you came to this part of your life as a content creator because you have something wonderful to say. And it might not be all of your own creation. You might show up every day as the best version of yourself. And interesting ideas come to you and they come through you and they reach out to people that you don't even know yet. Let's think for a second that that might be a possibility. And wouldn't it be nice if instead of us trying to reinvent this every day for ourselves, that we showed up as the best version of ourselves and we expected that that creativity would come? Just kind of like the breathing will come. We don't have to figure out how it works. We just have to show up and we have to be the vessel that says, hey, I'm here and I made myself as healthy as I could so that my oxygen would flow properly and so that my blood would circulate through my body properly. And I did the best I could with what I was given so that I exercised and I ate the right foods and I took care of the vehicle so that whatever came through that vehicle would be at its prime. What if, and let's just talk about what if for a minute. What if there was a God that had all these little tiny pieces of our lives coinciding and working together in a cohesive manner that made us the best version of ourselves? And I can believe in the best version of myself. I show up every single day, and here are the prayers that I say. I want to be kind to other people today. I don't know how to be kind, but I'm going to show up as the best version of Angela, and I'm going to trust that kindness comes through. I believe in things like compassion. I might not understand the pain someone else is going through, but I'm going to show up today with the best compassion I can provide. I'm going to show up as the best version of Angela. And in that process, if I come in contact or one-on-one with someone and they're going through something difficult, I hope and I pray that I'm empathetic and that I'm compassionate and I'm understanding and I'm caring. I trust in that. That I can believe in, that I can get behind. And I don't have any scientific proof of anything else, including my heart beating and the oxygen flowing through my body or the sun coming up in the morning. I can't scientifically prove any of that, but I believe in it. And I'm counting on it every day to be a really big part of my life. The best version of myself means that I believe in a whole bunch of things like truth and honesty and diligence and consistency and all of the things that make us great. If you show up every single day, even if you don't believe in God, but you believe in the highest version of yourself, and you trust that if there's a God, it's going to show up in your life and it's going to empower you to be the best version of yourself, so that every single time that you turn on that camera, the words you're supposed to say will come through. The audience you're supposed to reach, it will find its way through some fancy billion-dollar algorithm through one of the social media platforms. It will find its way to the people that need that particular message for the day. It removes so much pressure to say, oh no, as a content creator, I have an audience and I'm supposed to perform all this stuff every day. What if you didn't? What if you showed up every day just like the sun and you said, I'm here providing the very best that I've been given. This is the best set of tools and the best set of resources that I have. I studied, I learned, I exercised, I slept properly, I stayed hydrated, and I made my vehicle the very best version so that I could show up and I could do the very best job at presenting the information that I have to everyone else. What if you just showed up and you are present every day as the best version of you? Can God save you from burnout recovery? I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know is this: if you will remove the pressure from yourself, and you approach the day with a what if mentality. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten through a really dark day where I was praying like crazy. Like I'm saying, hey, listen, I need some inner guidance. I don't know what to do next. I'm in a situation I don't know how to solve. I'm in over my head in this particular situation, either with a client, a customer, or an employee. And I'm really frustrated and I need some guidance. It's like asking for, I'd like to take a deep breath. Where does that come from? You take a deep breath and what happens? More oxygen circulates through your body. Did you create that? I don't know. My suggestion is though, is what if? What if you approach this instead of denying that there was a God? What if you approached it, what if there was? What would change for you? It's an interesting question I want to leave you with today. As you are saying stuff to yourself, because we talked about this yesterday, what are the words you say to yourself? What if part of those words that you say to yourself are a prayer of hope, a prayer of asking for assistance, asking for guidance, asking for inner wisdom, asking for inspiration? What if in the words you said to yourself, you said, hey, listen, I'm open to a new possibility, that maybe there's creativity I haven't tapped into yet. Maybe there's an audience I haven't tapped into yet. Maybe there's hope that I can bring to someone else. What if there was a possibility? So I'm not here to say yes or no to the answer of the question. What I'm here to say is, what if? All right, let's check in with how we did today. The first thing is the sleep. I underslept a little bit yesterday, but I was able to take a nap and I tapped in at 7 hours and 6 minutes, which is really good because I'm really focusing on making sure that my moods are brighter and my attitude is better because I want to be the best version of myself. And that means not going skinny on the sleep. I've gone skinny on the sleep for way too long. And I've seen how it's affected my attitude and how that accelerated my steps to burnout. And in my recovery process, taking care of me is going to be my top priority. I cannot take care of anyone else unless I take care of me first. And that means 3 things I can't outsource, right? My eating, my sleeping, and my exercise. So on the sleeping, I'm starting to pay attention now to the types of sleep that I'm getting. All right, the next thing is my hydration. How am I doing on my hydration? I am doing fantastic. I'm still doing 112 ounces of water every single day. I keep my water right at my desk. And so every time I look up from the computer, there it is. I keep water in all the rooms of my house. And if I happen to walk through a different room and I see some water, I'm like, oh yes, it's time for a drink. And I'm consciously drinking more water because my whole body runs off of water, right? It's like good fuel for my body. Speaking of fuel, I'm doing intermittent fasting now, and I'm focusing on about 20 to 24 hours a day of fasting because based on all my research, and I've done a lot of research over the last few days and few weeks, as I've been fasting for the last 3 weeks, I've been trying to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. And there are a lot of videos that are out there. And I'm following Mindy Peltz, who's a doctor and really has a passion for fasting. And she's done a whole bunch of videos that I will leave links in the show notes to on what to drink while you're fasting and what water is okay and what falsities are not good, such as a soda with no sugar in it, but has artificial sweeteners. That's a no-no. So there are certain things that she will advise as to what you can and can't do while you're fasting. And I'm finding it's spot on. I'm feeling fantastic following the program. So the intermittent fasting, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, spot on. All right. The next thing to think about is the nourishment when we're actually eating. What are the kinds of foods that we're actually eating? And I've got a couple of pictures here that show healthy foods, but primarily for me, they are things that don't have preservatives in them. So I'm not judging anyone else, but what I'm saying for me, what's working right now is nothing in a can, a bag, or a box. If it has preservatives in it, it's probably not good for me, which has really forced me to think outside the box. And now I'm finding myself shredding things like zucchini and yellow squash, and then cooking that in with a couple of eggs in the morning for my first meal of the day, which is a little bit of protein and some vegetables. And so I'm doing, little bits of carbohydrates with my food, but it is healthy raw stuff that the earth gave us. And so I'm really interested in learning a whole new way of eating. And it's actually making me feel fantastic. So does it work? Yeah, I think it does. So I'm really happy about that. All right. So the next thing is my workouts. I have been going all out massive action on my workouts in order to create some extra muscle in my body and also to drop 40 pounds of menopause weight. So I'm at about 16 pounds in that I've lost in the last 24 days. And my strength has started to really rebound. So I find myself much stronger than I was. And I feel like my muscles have really started to develop since I've been doing these strength building workouts over the last couple of weeks. So am I at my ideal weight? No. Do I look fantastic yet? No, but I'm on the road to recovery. And so now this is the new norm, and I'm in a new habit of going to the gym every morning. And as I'm processing this new way of living, my moods are bright. And that takes me to one of the next things is, how are my moods? So I'm looking at my moods and my attitudes as a direct correlation to what I'm eating, how I'm sleeping, and all the things. Because if I'm spending time and attention really focusing on being the best version of myself, how is that showing up? And how it's showing up for me is it's showing up me being a better content creator. It's showing me to be a better boss, a better human, a better spouse, a better sibling, and all the things. All the different interactions that I have in my life have improved as a result of. And then in the moments where I'm having challenges, and that's one of the next things we're going to talk about, is not just the business progress, but also the challenges. I woke up, I don't know why, but I woke up this morning in kind of a bad mood. I think I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And I went through the same process. What do I do now? It's the new normal me. I got up and I made the bed and I started my day with gratitude, and I was still in a grumpy mood. And I got in my car and I drove to the gym, still in a grumpy mood. And I'm inside the swimming pool and I'm like kicking my heart out. And a woman comes over to me and she said, "Are you doing okay?" And I said, "I'm not. I'm having a really tough day today." And you know what's really interesting about it? She said, "I know, I can tell." And I said, "How can you tell?" And she said, "Your mood is not as bright as normally it is." And she said, "I came over to offer a word of encouragement." And I said, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate that." I said, "I'm going to sit here and I'm just going to kick it out. I'm just going to fight out my mood in the swimming pool here." And she said, "You know what? It's okay to have a bad day. You don't have to always be on top of the world." I said, "You're right." And I said, "By the time I leave that locker room though today, I'm going to be in a great mood." And I did. I stayed in the swimming pool and I fought it out. I physically fought it out. I was just like, ah, and all the life's little angsts that come at us. And they were hitting me from every direction this morning. I'm human. I'm human. And so I'm going to have up and down days. And even if you're doing all the right stuff, you're still going to have moods where they're not the brightest for you. And that goes back to the conversation we had earlier. Can God save me from burnout? I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm in the swimming pool kicking it out, praying like crazy. Like, hey, divine providence, I need some in my day today. I need to turn my mood around. Like I'm a great big monster cruise ship. I need to turn this thing around because I've got employees today and I've got live shows. I've got coaching and consulting I've got to do today. And I can't show up being that Angela. I need to be a different Angela when I show up today. And I'm looking for all the guidance and all the wisdom and all the inspiration that I can possibly tap into today. And I'm showing up. I showed up today to the gym. I showed up today with my attitude of gratitude, and I'm doing the best I can. And that is all I can ask of myself. And so whatever needs to happen between now and the time that I go live for my first show today, I need all that to kick in. Thank you very much. And then I turn it over to the highest version of myself. And I have to trust in the process, because sometimes your moods are still going to suck, and that's okay. What you have to realize is you are human and you are the vehicle. And sometimes you're going to get stuck in traffic, and that's okay. The light's going to turn green and eventually you'll be able to go, right? So you have to still just show up and be the best version of you. All right, next thing. I was going to talk for a second just about the business progress. I did make a whole bunch of business progress over the last couple of days. I've had some amazing, amazing challenges in the business that have then turned around. And it's group coaching calls, it is group sessions, it's finishing courses, it's building websites. It's been kind of like flipping on a light switch where the creativity has just poured in. And I'm asking not just for divine providence in the little prayers that I say there. I'm going to call them disrespectful prayers, where I'm asking for guidance with my eyes open and there's no head bowed and there's no arms closed. And if it's disrespectful to God, gee, I'm sorry, but just bring it on. I need the help. I'm asking for help as I'm jumping into websites. I'm like saying, hey, if there's any inspiration anywhere in the universe that can come to me and teach me how to do this thing on the computer, I'm open to it. And I'm looking for guidance and inspiration. And it's like, click here, click here, click here. It's almost like someone is coming through me and making stuff happen on the computer. The last 2 or 3 weeks have surpassed the last 6 months of my business. And I'm sitting here like, yay, this is so exciting. Can God save me from burnout? I don't know, but I want to say, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm feeling like has happened. What if that was a possibility? And that's what I want to leave you with today is what if? All right, this content creator journey is happening over at lifelongproductions.com/burnout. That's where I'm documenting my progress on a day-to-day basis. If you're not a part of it, come over and join me. I'm tracking my progress from day to day. Also, this is a shout out to lifelongproductions.com. Lifelongproductions.com helps content creators move the needle on their business. So if you have projects that you haven't started, this is a chance that you can start them and take them through to fruition. And then Lifelong Productions can help you find that audience where you can turn around and sell that content and monetize it. So this can be your business. All right. So today I want you in the notes below to leave your comments. Can God save me from content creator burnout? Is it a yes, or is it a, I don't know, but it's a possibility? All right, I'll leave you with that today. And as I leave you, there are 2 things that I want you to remember. Number 1, you matter. And number 2, you are